Hi guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to set up a Christmas sketchbook. Okay, so I've showed these sketchbooks throughout the year. I've been using them for very quick landscape sketches and using one or two every season. So from winter, spring, summer, autumn, and now winter again. So last winter I started one after Christmas. I think it was January, somewhere around there that I started it. So this year I thought it'd be nice to kind of go through from December through winter. So we'll see how far I get with it, but let's just set it up together. So I'm putting this holographic tab in, and I've been putting these in the front because it's kind of tricky to always sort of get this front. It's very thin, the front paper, so sometimes you kind of miss the first page here. So I like to put the tab in for that. And then the other day when I was filming something, I had these three emblems here to kind of show something for the course, and I thought it would be really nice to actually use those to start this sketchbook. So normally I leave these pages blank until the end and kind of come back and fill it in when I know what the sketchbook kind of was about. But since I know this is for Christmas, I thought this would be a really nice place to kind of put this, these kind of sketches and practice these emblems a little bit. So the first thing I did was sketch very lightly in an oval. From where you're kind of viewing it here, it looks a little bit off center, but it's actually centered. And then I started putting the bow in. So I am using like a double bow here, like in the reference, and then I kind of just change where the ribbons go. So we do go through and kind of sketch out these, explore some different variations for the emblems in the video, but I also do have two older videos just for emblems. The audio may not be as good since I've updated it now, but yeah, they are there, and they do have a lot of information about that in them. So so you can see then I'm just following the lines from my oval, and I'm just sort of putting in leaves, one on one side, one on the other, and then maybe one in the middle, and then kind of going around like that. I'm also not being too particular here because I know that once I start putting in the watercolor, I may kind of change the placement of the leaves a little bit as well. So I am kind of just leaving room for that as well. So once I have the emblem in, and you can see it's kind of like almost like a Laurel one or something like that, but once I have that in, I'm starting with a side one. Now, so you can see I'm kind of mirroring the curves. I do kind of one outward on one side and then the other, and then maybe an inward one, and just kind of follow the curves from the shapes that we saw, the emblems that we saw, and then thinking about some other things. So we'll go into this a little bit more detail, but kind of thinking about what they have on the emblems and around the emblems. Again, we will sketch these out a little bit in a minute, but yeah, just kind of thinking through all the different little parts they have. Now, the other thing here is I am really particular about red watercolor, because sometimes like you can paint it and it will dry almost looking like dry blood rather than actual red watercolor. So I'll show you the two that I really enjoy, and what I'm trying to do here is to get a really soft red around the page. So you can see there that I just kept getting water, and I pointed there to the light swatch on the page. So I'm really trying to kind of get some water now and really pull this around the page and really soften this color out. So you can see here once that's done, and I haven't gone too carefully around these emblems. I don't mind if the pencil sort of goes into the water. I actually really like that look. I feel like it lends a little bit of kind of that old world look to it. So, and you can see there's a pool of water at the top, so I'm actually just tipping my page up and letting that kind of go down so that it creates this watermark here. I really want this page to sort of look a little bit old and weathered, but also still have that kind of red tint to it. Okay, so let's go back to this shape. We've kind of put in the shape here, and now I'm putting like there's a little crown at the top, so you can see when I do the like I've kind of done 3 little parts to the crown with like 3 little maybe fleur-de-lis kind of things on top, really tiny, very sketchy. And then in the middle here they had some kind of a flower, something sort of a floral garland, so I did kind of a rose there, and then I'm doing a few just little tiny leaves and more like indications of flowers or something floral. So I'm looking at it here and I'm thinking I could possibly put another rose sort of heading downwards underneath this one. I really love that kind of pairing all the time. And then I look to kind of outside the emblem, and I'm adding in some little leaves there in different places to kind of make it a bit asymmetrical, adding in just a few little kind of things here and there, so kind of some teardrop shapes. And then around here I am adding in kind of an extra line here now, so once you've got it all sort of sketched in place, you can actually make those lines a little bit stronger and give it the kind of strength and dimension that you're looking for. You can see at the bottom here it's kind of like a hook going one way or the other way, and then the front one, it's almost like an upside down fleur-de-lis, and they do that kind of several times, almost like leaves growing out, but it's more of a structural form. I'm sure there's a more technical term for that. So then on the other side I start with the crown here, and I am kind of doing one side, another side, and then in the middle kind of just a straight line with a little fleur-de-lis, and then kind of some of those kind of upside down fleur-de-lis underneath it. So then we do the 2 first curves on the emblem, we start another curve, we mirror that on the other side, and then we just continue the placement of curves. The interesting thing about this and building these emblems is that just the width and the length and the placement of the kind of tilt of the curve can determine so many different variations for these. So you can see here I'm kind of doing that again so you can kind of see that, but I end up actually erasing that and we do something different. So it's like we're creating little finials around, but again you can see some little leaf shapes on the sides, and then another garland in the middle here. I think I end up putting a rose here in the middle, and yep, so when I'm doing these roses I'm kind of doing a side kind of version of a floral shape, and then again some little leaves there, and I'm just kind of looking around, can I add another little curve here? Yeah, what kinds of things? I'm looking at the reference image as well and just kind of trying to decide what to do. So you can see here that I've taken off the bottom, and in the reference it's a little bit more of a floral shape in the middle, and then this kind of more curly, almost like a wing or a feather that's going out to the side there. So I kind of did something like that. Again, I like to keep these quite loose and almost gestural, but you can certainly like refine them. And yeah, I'm just showing you here the difference between like a very similar shape and what the length and width of these curves will do. So these ones we're doing sort of longer. Everything, it still sort of looks, I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell yet, but I did everything a little bit longer, and then we're still just doing a little oval at the top and a larger one a little oval at the bottom and a larger one at the top. And now I'm tilting these out a little bit more, and I'm making these shorter curves, and wider, and then you see kind of just the difference in this shape here. So yeah, in the kind of Baroque and Rococo times, they really played around with these types of things. So it's really nice to kind of just think about that. And you can see here this is in a different book. So you can always practice on a scrap piece of paper or in a sketchbook before you start, you know, working on like the actual painting. I feel like that's sometimes one of the biggest misconceptions, is that a painting is just done from start to finish on a canvas or on a, you know, piece of good paper with no kind of practice. So there's always practice, and you can always stop and practice one particular part or change something. So I'm just going to show you the two reds that I really like. This one is Pyrrol Red by Greenleaf and Blueberry. Any Pyrrol Red, I really like it. It's just a nice, it dries well. And then this one here is Mayan Red by Daniel Smith. And this one is kind of more like a strawberry red. It's really pretty. It's got kind of slight pink undertones. You can see, or you'll be able to see in a minute, I think a little bit clearer, but the top one has kind of more orangey undertones, and this one has a little bit more pink. It's also quite granulating, so I really like it for that. I feel like I don't really use or swatch reds a lot on the channel, but I really do like a good red when I'm wanting to use one, and I actually looked for a long time to find these types of reds, so I tried lots and lots of reds. So yeah, this one here is a handmade watercolor by KJDesignsbyKaren. It's called Ruby Slippers. So it's a sparkle color, and we're going to just use that as an accent on top. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is just going in with the Mayan red and kind of filling in these the areas of the emblem. So I do not mind the pencil there, because it already starts to give a bit of a smoky quality to the colour, and it starts to kind of give a little bit of that just the differentiation of some of the colouring there. So I really like that. And then I'm going back in again with the same Mayan red and filling out the ribbon here. Okay, so I'm going back in with the Greenleaf and Blueberry French Grey Earth, and again you can see, like, to contrast with the brightness of the red, I'm going for like a softer, grayer version of a green. So you could use like an olive green. You can use a green and just mix a little bit of the red in with it to neutralize it a little bit. But I'm going around kind of looking for all these leaves that we created earlier, and then I'm also going in with a more of a minty green here as well. So again the graphite's going to give that a little bit more of a smoky, earthy feeling as well. But I like the idea of the kind of contrast of those two softer greens with this brighter red. And now I'm going in with the Ruby Slippers, and I'm just adding in the roses in the center and a few of the little kind of accents here and there. Then I've gotten a deeper olive green, so this one is Daniel Smith Greenish Raw Umber, and I'm going in and finding some of the darker parts of the leaves, and then on the wreath here I'm kind of looking for the behind leaf. So there might be a leaf in front and then kind of a leaf behind or beside, and I'm kind of putting the shadow leaf in rather than the front leaf, if that makes sense. Yeah, so this was really hard to do on camera because these were so little, but you can just do it very softly and make kind of transparent leaves that overlap each other to give that kind of transparent quality to the kind of an ethereal quality to the wreath as well. But I'm also going in now, I've neutralized the red with a little bit, so this is actually the Pyrrol Red with a little bit of Pyrrol Green, and I'm just adding that in where the kind of shadow parts of the ribbon are. So especially points of intersection underneath, so where, you know, there might be like coming out from the side, yeah, anything that you think was underneath the other part, make that a little bit darker. And then basically we're done. It's a very nice, simple, kind of quick exercise, but it makes the front page of your sketchbook look really beautiful. You've explored and kind of learned a lot of things, and yeah. These would be really nice as holiday cards, but you could also change the, change little bits of it up during the year to do other occasions. You could also paint something in the middle of like the wreath that might be, you know, something that that person really likes as well. So the other thing is, I'll be back on December 1st, so on Monday, for our traditional December gift guide video. But after that, I wanted to paint some Matryoshkas for maybe the 12 days of Christmas. So the first time we did it with these ones, and we made a card where they kind of all flip out, so you can go back and find that. It will be the first, maybe 2019. But the ones I want to use, so these printables are all in my shop, but the ones I want to use this year are these newer ones. And I thought we could just go through, we did paint these like, I didn't have time that Christmas, and we painted them in spring. I kind of changed the little things that were in kind of their hands to change them to make them kind of not Christmassy. So you can see like a paint palette there, a little bird. I can't remember what the Christmas things were, but I've been really wanting to try these again. I really love the printables, and I feel like these are something you could even make and cut one out and make a handwritten note on the back and give them to people. Yeah, you could see like you could make both printables together and just do an entire set. And I really love the little things in their centers, what they're holding. I think I might do the first three as full videos every few days or so, and then the next ones I might just put them on reels, so you can keep an eye out for that. Like I'll put a short up of the smaller ones. And then the other thing I thought is that maybe on Christmas Eve we could paint this snow angel, which I'm not sure we ever did, so I'm really excited about that. The other thing I wanted to say is I'm so glad you're enjoying the course. I'm so glad you have signed up. It was so lovely the morning. So I actually put this up Thursday night, and that next morning, one of you, hi Valentina if you're watching, posted a beautiful picture from the Mediterranean, from Cyprus, of your sunrise. It was so lovely to see. So if any of you want to, I've never actually kind of done a platform like this, so it's all new to me as well as to some of you. So but you can post photos and comments. So if you have photos you want to include, that would be amazing. You can show us the kind of landscape that you're looking at, or your sky, or your view, or anything that you want to share. If you want to share your paintings, your palettes, where you're up to. If you have questions, some of you may have questions, and please feel free to ask them. I'm sure someone else may as well. I may not have explained something well enough, or just not even thought to explain something, so please feel free to ask. It's really exciting to see the classes being completed as well. Like I get little notifications, 57 classes completed and things like that. So it's really lovely. The other thing is, if you haven't signed up yet, it's the 75% off is available until Monday, I think Monday at 6, something like that, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, and oh, the other thing I wanted to say is a couple of the middle videos, you may see them disappear and reappear just because I edited them in the before I kind of updated my editing system. So I want them to be the best versions of themselves if you want to keep replaying them. So I'm just going to try and make the audio a little bit more, you know, so it's not going loud and soft. So if you see a class disappear, it should reappear 20 minutes later. It's just a couple of them. So yeah, I hope that's okay. Yeah, I've been really sick this week with like a throat and tooth and ear infection. So yeah, there's a couple of things that I still need to do that should be done in a few days. But yeah, I am so thankful for the lovely feedback and for all of you for enjoying it, and I can't wait to see your paintings, and yeah, I hope everyone has a really lovely weekend. I will see you on Monday with the December gift guide, and yeah, have a great weekend. Bye.